Tom Bevan, president of Real Clear Politics. Tom, good to have you on again. Before we talk about Vice President Harris's pick, Tim Walz, let's talk about who she didn't choose. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. I think a lot of people had their money on him, especially when it was announced that Harris was going to be in Pennsylvania today. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and there was that leaked video from the mayor a few days ago, which really set people buzzing. Everyone thought that Josh Shapiro was going to be the next Kamala's pick. I mean, Pennsylvania is a critical state. There was a reporting, though, that Shapiro's meeting with Harris didn't go well and that he didn't feel comfortable and called her and sort of took himself out of the running at the last minute. And we saw that happen with Roy Cooper in North Carolina. Mark Kelly was another one who was on that short list but didn't get the nod. And so Tim Walz, in some ways, was the last man standing here. And clearly, I think the campaign decided that they're going to try and shore up the blue wall in the upper Midwest, but they're going to do it with Tim Walz from Minnesota as opposed to Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and let's talk about Tim Walz now. A survey conducted in May by local TV station KSTP and Survey USA found that 54% of voters polled approved of his performance as governor at the time. However, a recent NPR-PBS-Marist poll found that 71% of people, Tom, had never even heard of the now vice president nominee. So that being said, how important is name recognition, and does it matter when it comes to being a VP?
Well, listen, I mean, he is a relative unknown. In some ways, this is like when John McCain picked Sarah Palin. I mean, a lot of people, even within the Republican Party, hadn't heard of her. I suspect there are a lot of Democrats, and that's why the race is really on to frame him, right? Republicans are trying to frame him as a far-left radical. Kamala Harris, the Democrats want to frame him as sort of this, centrist Midwestern aw shucks guy who, as he said, was a school teacher and was in the Army Reserves, et cetera. And so that's why there's going to be a furious effort to try and, frame him one way or the other over the next couple of weeks, because that will be most people's first impression of him.
Yeah, Tom, about a minute left or so. But, I mean, what do you think of Tim Walz? Do you think he was a smart pick for Harris? And how do you think the Harris-Walz ticket will resonate with voters?
Great question. Time will tell. It's an interesting pick. I mean, in some ways, he does have this sort of working class, patina to him. And certainly he and J.D. Vance are going to argue about who's more working class and who's better for the working class in those upper Midwestern states. But he also has a pretty far left record. I mean, all of the progressives in the party, Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, Jamal Bowman, they were all pushing for Tim Walz to be the pick. So there's plenty of ammunition there for Republicans on his record, which is pretty far left. But at the same time, he did win re-election in 2022 by 8 points, and he's an able campaigner. And so I think it'll be an interesting pick to see how this pick resonates with voters in Michigan, with voters in Wisconsin, which are the two states that they're really targeting right now.
Yeah, final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting race. I mean, all of these states are really, really close right now. And so we'll see whether the campaign gets a bump out of this or not. At the end of the day, though, Tracy, people don't really vote for the vice president. They vote for who's at the top of the ticket.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Tom, always good to be with you. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.